Hello and welcome back to Digimon World Next Order, Randomized, Part 17. That's a lot of parts. Couple things. First of all, support continues to be ridic. That's short for ridiculous, in case you didn't know that. Support continues to be amazing for the series. I think up to Part 4 is out right now. I'm recording this before a wedding I have to go to, so I have to leave tomorrow morning. Take a short flight, and then I'll be away for a multitude of days. So I didn't want to scare all our new members into thinking that, like, oh, does he just like record all these once a month? No, I do it when I feel like it. Everyone is excited to see fully up in Sky. Oh, that's right. I have to. Or no, did I already do this? I think I just have to leave, right? That's all I have to do. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to do one more before I go away for a couple days. And I can come back and stronger than ever. Alright, I think this is a fight coming up. Why is Barbamon appearing? Don't do it over the text box. Okay.
Shockwave when we take off. Let your partner cut the cable while you lay low.
Okay. Oh, real quick, I want to I want to post a correction. Two things. One, I said very early on that the difficulty settings were virtually the same. That's not entirely true. Easy mode and beginner are almost the same, whereas you get more training experience, you get more bits. It's also closer to the original difficulty of the game for the Vita version, but beginner does lower enemy stats. I don't have hard math on it. I think it's probably about like 20%. It's like a little bit. So I am playing it even easier than normal. Now, that being said, I'm also doing a YouTube series, so like the less training I have to do, kind of the better for everyone. So just keep that in mind. It is virtually the same as easy. It's just that I don't have to train as hard because the enemy skill requirements aren't as high, if that makes sense. But I still recommend playing on beginner, if I'm being completely honest. I think that the English version of the scaling is bad. Because even if easy mode is like close to the Vita version, it's still harder than the Vita version. Because the Vita version, like every enemy is like much lower, or much lower level, I should say. Like even if beginner like cuts some of their stats, the levels are still super jacked up. So it's not going to matter too much. It feels virtually the same. The fact that I didn't notice should tell you a lot, because I've played this game a lot. So the fact that I didn't really pick up that the stats are lower shows you that they're not lowered by much. Kind of like how they were like, hey, we added a sprint and then made it increase the speed by 1.4. I'm like, at least make it 2. Speaking of which, I did, you can't, this is the last thing, and then we'll get to the game, I swear. I did increase the walking and running speed to 2 times. Someone pointed out in the comments that the mod I'm using for increased speed, you can actually edit it. So you can make yourself as fast as possible. So we're going to try 2, and if 2 feels too fast or still feels like it'd be faster, we'll mess with it there. Okay, anyway.
Let's get started then.
Hey, that was perfect.
Hang on!
There he is. Oh, he's got 2 platinum Sukumon with him. That's way more XP.
It won't be that easy to escape the BH program. All the Digimon. No, all of the digital world is wrapped up in that person's plan.
There's no "the" in the thing. Also, that person, because God forbid they give away the villain so early.
Resign yourselves. Metal Edamon, the most powerful assassin in the world, will put an end to your useless dreams.
I read that as most useless. Oh my god, it's Machine Draymon. I know that Digimon. Also, it's Red Vegiemon. This might be a tough fight. Edamon is already kind of jacked up. Let's make sure everybody's healed. I think because they still have Filtex, that they're a little harder to fight. Oh man, did I not buy any super recoveries? I'm gonna regret it. Let me try and do these. Let's just do a little bit of that. Yeah, Machine Dramon is kind of kicking our ass right now. I don't care who this hits, we just need to hit someone. Alright, thanks for that little bit, Barbamon. If we could just use our specials at some point today, thank you. I'd be really grateful. Oh my god, this just giant shit. It's just enveloping the screen. Alright, there we go. This never happened with the PS4 version. I don't know why. Like sometimes, like they get like they would get delayed sometimes, but they're like really delayed in this version to like a concerning degree. All right, can do a little bit more healing. Oh, I think Digimon did their like special thing automatically because theirs is to gain their HP back and increase their max HP. So I think that's what happened. All right. I could EXE here, but I'm gonna hold off because it's still early in the day. I don't know what else I'm gonna do. If we're gonna go to Boney Resort after this, I'd kind of like to have the EXE in my pocket if I need it. We're also at the point in the game where I need to start using plugins. I just don't want to. Also, another thing, I beat the entire Vita version of the game without ever having used plugins. Like, you just don't need it the entire game. The balance is wild. Alright, and they're not even, like, that much stronger. Like, realistically. Because I would have gotten a huge stat boost if they were.
I didn't think they were this powerful.
Sorry, I think that line was a little weird. Let me try it again for them.
The throne of the three gods of ruin. My ambition. With Digimon dead, now's my chance to seize it. If only I had hired some better henchmen. Hey, I won't forget this.
All right. Later, dude.
Hang on. Our main priority is getting the city off the ground.
I guess.
The plug for the cable is directly below the city center. Hurry up and send your partners there.
Okay.
Let's get started.
I really hope that Barbmon thing goes away at some point. Oh my god, a real cutscene in this economy? Oh. It is pretty cool. I just wish it hadn't been spoiled like multiple times. Like, it's just like the reveal is like, it's in the fucking name. Okay, so that's how we get back. You have to do the little telephone booth here. Yeah, I feel much faster now. That's good. I will be right back. I forgot my water. It's funny to think back. There were times when I would like not grab my water. I'd be like, well, I already started the video, so it's too late. And then I would like, by like 20 to 30 minutes in, I'd be like, and my voice just dries out. It's weird because I've been playing Sly Cooper for PS4, PS5, and the camera's inverted. So now like I'm used to doing inverted camera, even though this is the correct way to do it, which is not inverted. It sucks. I hate it. So there are now a couple extra spots here. There's so is this an onion? The baseball onion? So yeah, there's a couple new gathering spots here. They're pretty good for trying to gather cards in like the base game if you're like working on the platinum. I think they give like medium resources. I don't think it's like anything like super good, but they give a lot, so it's kind of a good way to get some easy resources. I don't know, it's weird. Town is floating. Can't believe we got attacked at the worst possible moment. I mean, I can. At least we levitated the town. To come back, use the phone booth. Or just an autopilot, I guess, but I do think it's cute that they use the phone booth. And they use the Digimon World DS fucking teleport noise. Let's go! I love that. I love when they take, like, genuinely, when they reuse, like, older Digimon game, like, sound effects. It's the coolest shit in the world to me. It shouldn't be. It is. Let's increase natural life, for sure. Why do I have so many points? What was I saving for? I don't know what to go for from here. Further is post-battle bit and item drop rate. That's not bad. Another attack slot would be good. Boost initial order power value could also be good. Raises damage and cooperation. Yeah, let's start grabbing some of the smaller, just skill-based stuff. Occasionally makes item cost 0. Let me try and get all of these. Expands the effective area of stuff thrown. Slightly raises the effective attack skills. Slightly raises the rate of being granted status abnormalities. Occasionally halves the OP cost when you use a special move. That could be pretty good. Increased amount of bits would be nice. Oh, I should probably do one of these. Boost the quality of metal types, of liquid types. Liquid. Let's. You know what? I might go after one of the fish ones. Let's make fishing a little easier. That seems so out of nowhere, but I don't know. I don't really have a good answer. Okay. I gotta check my daily here anyway. So let's do that. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Or no music, I guess.
A traitor?
I had my doubts. You were the one responsible for the immunity of Digimon entering the city, right?
There's no proof that I'm a traitor.
That's not... No, wait. No. That's not the right way to respond to you're a traitor. The right way to respond is I'm not a traitor.
Oh dear. You came back at the worst possible time.
You are not nearly worked up enough about this.
One of the new Digimon in the city seems to have been infected with the updated BH program.
Uh-oh.
Thankfully, the antivirus program worked, so the infection isn't spreading.
We're wondering if it was Mr. Mamio, who was in charge of immunization, who let the infected Digimon in on purpose.
Yeah, that's probably it. It was probably
But
him.
to doubt a friend at a time like this.
Talmon looks positively shocked.
It's not like all my suspicions have been cleared away. This is just one incident. But I have to wonder.
Just when I thought I had done everything I could. Very well, I get it. I'll just leave the city then. Hold on, Mr. Mamio. What are you saying?
Whoa.
Leaving now would be suicide.
I mean,
Yeah,
probably
there's
though.
no need to leave. That's it. One of us could monitor him.
You guys want to know a little Among Us trick here? Whenever people are being accused and there's like someone who's like suspiciously quiet, not saying a single word, you should start to doubt them. You should be like, hey, what do you think? And then, you know, see if their story sounds right. You know, kind of like Lush being the only one in this cutscene not saying anything.
Leave it to me.
All right. The timing on that was, mwah.
Ah, you doubt my innocence too. It makes me sad to realize how unpopular I am.
Honestly, they're all messed up.
Don't say that. I'll go with you, Mr. Mamio. Thank you, Koda. Shall we go then?
Like, do you think, like, did Koda say Mamio Senpai in the Japanese version? Was it, and that's why they translated to Mr. Mamio? Like, I don't know what honorific they would have used, because Mr. Mamio sounds clunky. But I imagine they just translated it from Japanese. So he probably says, like, instead of Mamio-san, he says, like, Senpai.
You need to cover for me. See you.
A traitor, really? Take care, Koda. Hang on, I'm coming with you.
Really? That's very reassuring, but there's no need to rush to a conclusion.
Thank you, but you have to understand that all three of the options lead to the same thing no matter what. We're very keen on that in the Digimon games. We're really big on useless dialogue
Think
options.
on it. If the answer is yes, come to Nye Plains.
I mean, there's like 4 areas in High Plains. Which one? What? I don't remember this section, if I'm being completely honest. Wait, in High Plains. Vast Plateau in High Plains. Okay. Like, I don't know what they want us to do. It's time to do our Digivice battles. I don't think I can register the same Digimon again. Also, I assume that the pool of people that I can fight in this version is pretty low. I assume it's not cross-play with PS4 and Switch. It's probably just, like, all PC players. That being said, being the top 3,000, I guess more people play this game on PC than I realized. That's nice. I like that. I like knowing that Digimon is succeeding. Am I actually allowed to? Can't register Digimon at the same Digivolution stage. Right. Does it work if I do this? No. So I think it's basically because I picked it, I can't do it again. Now, when I registered them originally, I did kind of bank on the idea that I would have all ultras, so I could just register over them. So that kind of screws me over a little bit. All right, let's get to it. Hey, guess what? I got notes. So my big list of Nick Zalis fun facts, that's me. We've covered school and parents, which, you know, a little bit, a lot, but we've got some new stuff. I want to talk about my job history because I think that's fun. So my very first job was when I was in junior high school, not high school, junior high school. I got my first job when I was in 8th grade. I went and worked at a local supermarket in my hometown, and I worked as a cashier at 14 years old. And then I got the job because my mother worked in the deli at that same grocery store, and what I thought was like, oh wow, she's being nice and like helping me out, was actually closer to you can make money so I can stop feeding you dinner, and then also I can like I don't have to like take you anywhere. I can just take you to the place I already have to go. My mother wasn't very good at holding down jobs. I think after she left after like a couple months of being there, maybe like 6 months. But this again, just needling home that like I had a rough childhood thing. But the second I got a job, the second that I started working, I got effectively was also when my mother decided to stop making dinner for the family. So at that point, from that point forward, I just like fended for myself and made my own meals, or like would order takeout and stuff like that. Just from that day onward, like that's just how it went. But so I worked as a cashier, and I didn't like it. I thought it was stressful. Having to sit at a register, not even sit, just stand at a register for like hours on end, is so fucking monotonous. And I lived in kind of a waspy beach, like kind of rich town. Like I said, I did not live in the nice part of the town, but you know, it was the same town, and some of these people were not great at treating cashiers with respect. If this surprises you, welcome to the USA. Welcome to the world. Yeah, some of them were kind of mean. Some of them were fine. But I really did not like it. I think that's still to this date the worst retail job I've worked, was doing the cashier there. So eventually I started getting tapped for doing like stuff like around the store. This is a small little side thing. When I first started there, oh, I shouldn't save over that. That's bad. That's fine. When I first started working there, on my very first shift, it was a 3-hour shift. It was from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. They told me to go get like the carriages, the carts, the trolleys, if you will, like you put your groceries in there and you bring them to the counter. You know what it is. Multiple different words for the same thing. But Celebration Namako, that might actually be kind of tough. Actually, I think I've seen a couple of them, maybe, but we'll see. But yeah, so my first shift, they were like, oh, go grab carriages. And so like, okay, so I did. But like, I thought it meant like, oh, it's so loud. It's so loud. I thought that meant like, hey, go take charge of like carriage duty right now. Meaning like, go and like, you know, grab all the carriages and then just like wait for people to bring more carriages and then grab those too. They meant go grab all the carriages in like, in the parking lot at this time and then just go back to work. So I did this for like an hour out of my first 3-hour shift, which I think is very funny. So it's just so stupid. Just because nobody told me anything. And nobody even like bothered to check out at me. They like finally came out and they're like, hey, what's taking so long? I'm like, what do you mean? And then they were like, oh, we wanted you to do this. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. And they're like, oh, it's fine. Just they just laughed it off. But I would also do like, we had a janitor at the store, but then I also had to do janitorial work, which is confusing. Like I would have to like mop, like, you know, the can return, like when you like bring in your cans to recycle them. We had one of those. I would have to mop, like it was in the front area, so I have to mop that a lot. I have to mop the store. I'd vacuum the store with like a big like industrial vacuum. It's like it's like they were kind of sexist at the job in like a weird way. Not in like a, you know, this ruined my life type of way. In like a I feel weird about this. Where like effectively any like task that was like custodial would be given to like the male employees, and female employees would typically be trained, like, because like males work the register too, but it was mostly females. And then they would like be trained through like an admin and stuff for the women, and then the guys would either go to grocery to like go stock shelves, or they would just like leave. It was very strange. I never really got the hang of it, but I never really figured out why. I think I do know. I think at the time the assistant manager was the one in charge of the front end. I think she made that choice. Like, she did not like men, and like, you know, based fair. Like, I don't blame her. Like, but but it was weird because I was like, I didn't care. Like, I didn't mind doing like custodial stuff. I was like, genuinely anything to get me away from the register was great. But I don't know. I still thought it was weird. Anyway, eventually after doing that enough, there were no openings in grocery. Like, they never wanted me to do it. Like, I'd help out occasionally, so like I never got to stock shelves other than like, you know, perpetually. But I absolutely would have done that instead. But I would just do like odd jobs around and stuff like that. I never got like promoted to do like we had like a front desk kind of deal where like you could buy lottery and stuff, and that's where you get cigarettes and stuff like that. It was just like basically just like, you know, a grocery front desk. There's usually like 1 or 2 people there who are, it's like basically head cashier. I think now it would probably be the person who like watches over like self checkout would be what that job would be. But I never got that opportunity. And I was kind of like, well, this sucks. I'm tired of being like the whipping boy. Also, the amount I got paid when I started working, like my very first wage, and I want to see how people react to this. My first wage was $7.50 an hour, and this would have been in, oh man, when was I in junior high? Probably 2004, maybe 2007, 2006, 2008, around that general area. So I got paid $7.50. Then Massachusetts raised the minimum wage, and so then I got paid the minimum wage, which then became $8. And then I was like, hey, or then they gave me a raise to $8.25, and then the minimum wage got raised to $8.50. It was a lot of like the minimum wage getting raised, and then so like basically I would go from getting minimum wage to getting a slight pay bump to getting minimum wage again to getting a slight pay bump to getting minimum wage. And like, in my opinion, they should have just, you know, oh, we already pay you 50% or 50 cents above minimum wage, so when minimum wage raises, we should just raise your pay by what minimum wage does. But if you've worked retail, you probably know that's not how that works. That has never happened in any of my jobs. But it was, you know, wasn't great. Didn't enjoy it.
You came.
How did he know?
I'm sorry I got you wrapped up in this silly farce. I really have to apologize to Coda. Ultimately, it was your kindness that I betrayed.
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm saying that all that hubbub before was staged to flush out the real traitor.
Oh. Also, this would have been a fantastic like heel turn from Ameo, and then he like pushes Coda off the cliff or some shit. This would have been we're just deep enough in the game where we've done enough with him. It would have been really cool.
The real traitor?
Yes. I've had my doubts for some time now. But now that we're here, I'm very sure of it. There are big plans afoot now. There mustn't be even the
enough. Just get to it. I hate the preamble.
That was the point of that farce.
Who is the traitor? And what big plan?
It's not yet 100% settled.
Oh my god.
I don't want to give out a
Come on.
As for the plans, I'll talk once the business of the traitor is settled. For now, ask no questions. Just come with me.
Whoa. I don't know what to think. But, okay. I believe you, Mr. Mamio.
Thank you, Coda. I take it that's fine with you too?
What if I was just like, no?
I'm in your debt, both of you.
So, how will we flush out?
Right now, Mireille is, in short, she's saying that there is an incredible secret
weapon.
Yeah. Secret weapon? That sounds stupid, but if I was the traitor, I'd have to check it out to make sure.
Aha! You want them to...
I doubt very much that the traitor will go on. That's why Mireille and I, since hardly anyone ever goes near Resort.
I see.
I'll sneak on over, staying out of sight.
Got it.
Alright, basically all of that just to get to Midas Month's mansion. Alright, cool. So, that was my first job. Second job, which I think counts separately, but sometimes I count as the same, you know, I go back and forth with it. Is I worked in the bakery in the exact same, in the same place. In the same grocery store. My mother had made a friend in the deli. Eventually, that person, I'll name her. It was a woman by the name of Deb. Deb fucking ruled. Deb was, I think she was like 50. So she was a little bit up there, but not really. But she was like very like no nonsense, and the grocery store had a lot of fucking nonsense, so she fucking hated everyone there. But like I was pretty straightforward. I was just like, oh, I'll just clock in, do my job, and get out. And she was like, great. And she, you know, she liked my mom enough that she was like, all right, I'll give him a shot. And then I started working there, and she was like, Nick's fucking great, hell yeah, which is always a great feeling. But you know, it was an interesting job. She basically created a job for me because she could have done it herself, or she could have someone else do it. Because I think there was one other person who assisted at the bakery sometimes. It was somebody who also worked the front desk. And I wasn't a huge fan of her, which is why I won't name her. But she was fine. Like, compared to the others, I was like, it was kind of like, it's like, oh, hey, we have Tab or Diet Coke. And I'm like, I guess Diet Coke's fine. Not that I'm a Diet Coke fan. Also, am I going the right way at all? No? Okay. What the fuck was I planning? What was my plan here? What did I think was going to happen? But so, my job was I had to basically, and this is going to ruin some grocery store bakeries for some of you. Or some of you are not going to be surprised. Did you know that a lot of grocery store bakery stuff is just frozen, and then they like cook it or proof it or heat it up the next day? Because that's what we do. So my job was to grab the frozen stuff out of the bakery, put it on trays, and then put it in the fridge to basically start thawing it out, but getting it ready for the next morning. So that all Deb had to do was like take these bakery trays, pop them in the oven, and then they're good. Or for in the case of like loaves of bread, she would have to proof them first, then she would do it. But it's a whole thing. But that was not like, you know, there was a lot of things we had to get ready, like, you know, probably like 50 to like 100 different items and stuff, and like different boxes and everything like that. But it was not a 3-hour job. It was very much like if I was like honest, if I like needed to be done with it like immediately, probably like an hour. But I had to get paid for 3 hours, and it was an hourly job. So like, and like if I said like, oh, I finished my work early, they would just give me shit to do. And I didn't want to do that. So I would usually just chill in the freezer and just like hang out. Or I would like pretend to be busy in the bakery, like look like I was doing like office work when like there was no fucking office work to do. But because Deb was such a kick-ass, or was so kick-ass, she was like, as long as you get your work done, I don't give a shit what you do to fill your shift. And I was like, hell yeah, fight the power. But then she was also like, whereas some other people, like the assistant store manager, the owner, all them, they generally had a good idea of what goes on in the store. They did not really know what went on in the bakery, and they didn't really care. They were sort of just like, Deb handles it, it's fine, and also she's kind of prickly, so I just don't want to get involved. But it was, yeah, it was good. The one thing I never learned how to do was, and one thing we get requests for sometimes, is that you just buy like a blank like cake, like a cake with like nothing on it, and then someone at the bakery can like write like happy birthday so and so on it. That is a thing you can request at most grocery stores, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but I never learned how to do it. So every time someone asked, I would just like ask someone else. I feel like I would have liked that skill. Like I can write in cursive, but just never I just never practiced. Like there was never like a cake that like I didn't want to ruin. So, but I worked there for maybe like another year, maybe year and a half or so after that, and then I got my first job at GameStop. We'll talk about that in a second. Doesn't say anything. Okay, never mind. I guess we'll talk about it now. So, I had like been trying to apply for a job at GameStop effectively since I turned 14. So like, and I kept going to the same store. I would go in like, I don't know, maybe like once a month or so, maybe once every 2 months, which I'm sure the employees thought it was annoying. But like, especially always asking for a job. But I was like sociable enough that like, I was just like, you know, it's fine. And like, eventually I got to know them, and I was like, you know, I was buying games and stuff anyway. So like I laid off a little bit, and I would just be like, got any openings? They'd be like, nah, yeah, we'll let you know when we do. And I'm like, all right. But then we just like talk normally. But when I turned 16, I eventually was like, hey, I'm 16 now, and they're like, oh, we can actually hire you. And I was like, what? You couldn't hire me before? And it's like, no, you were way too young. But they were basically like, So the best time to apply is seasonal, and this is probably still true for GameStop for what it's worth. Like GameStop needs the most help around the holidays. Let's talk to Workerman. Wow, hey yo, you're looking real. Let's see. I don't know if that's one. It's whoa, hey yo, you're looking real fly. Those items you got. Oh, I get it. You're that human. Ah, me? Workerman's the name. Me, I like my items a little flashy. I say items, but it's more like fashion, dig? Say, you know what a Skull Grey ring is? It's like the must-have item Skull Greymon has, man. I just gotta get my hands on it. I'll go ask for it. Dude, thank you, thank you, thank you. You feel me? You really feel me. Skull Greymon is in the Boney Resort. Try to haggle when you find him. Aight? You ever just give, like, a character dialogue that does not match them at all? Me too, Bandai Namco. Me too. We both do it. But yeah, if you want to get a job at GameStop, the best time to apply is seasonal, because that's when they'll just take anyone. And I was good enough that they kept me on after the seasonal, or after the season went. And I worked at GameStop for, I think, 2 or 3 years. It starts to get a little foggy. I could figure it out if I like thought about it, but I don't want to think about it. GameStop was fine. It was better than working at a... It was definitely better than working at the grocery store, but it still wasn't great. It was, you know, it was just retail again. Like, you just, you know, it's just, you stand around and you look busy and you have to, like, you know, you stock games and take in trades and stuff like that. Taking in trades sucks. I never like doing it. You basically have to open every single one. Check the disc is there. Check if it, like, looks scuffed. Is it scuffed? Like, you might need to fix it. It's a whole thing. It was just a lot. It was always weird dealing with people, too, where it's like, I know there's lots of memes about GameStop where it's like, you know, you trade in a bunch of games and it's like, oh, I got like $12 out of it. And it's like, I get where people are coming from, but like, GameStop is effectively a pawn shop that only deals with games. It's like, we're going to buy your shit and then we're going to sell it to someone else for a higher price. And if you don't know that, it's basic economics. Like, it's fine. Hey, Drake and Snipe God. Hell yeah, dude. If you're subbing for Digimon, let me know in the comments if you made it this far. Be like, haha, that's me, and then do a timestamp. So we'll talk about it in a second. Okay. I don't remember what he requires. I don't remember when he joins. But yeah, so it's effectively a pawn shop. Like you have to know that we're gonna turn around and sell your shit. That's why, like, you're never gonna make a profit at GameStop. The whole point is that you have these games, you don't plan on playing them in the tournament. Now, I'm not gonna defend GameStop more than that. I just mean, like, relax on the fucking employees. We don't decide the prices, we just scan it. And then also, like, the ones that always got me is like when you turn in like a Call of Duty or like a sports game or any like huge release, like a year or two after it comes out and it's like worth basically nothing. I'm like, yeah, because nobody's buying it. Like, it's all supply and demand. If nobody's buying your game, then it's worthless. But anyway, I have a couple different stories from GameStop. I think I told the one where like I dealt with somebody who smelled really bad before. I've told that story a lot, and if I haven't, just tell me in the comments and I'll say it later. But the so I did that, or I worked at GameStop for a while. GameStop was better too because I met a lot of cool people. Like, the other people who worked at GameStop, like, a bare minimum were at least interested in games. At least the other employees. So there are a couple different tiers to working at GameStop. There's Game Advisor, which is a GA. That basically just means you're just a cashier. So you're the ones who will like ring up people and stuff like that. There's Senior Game Advisor, which gets paid a little bit more, and they give you a set of keys, so like you can unlock the back room, you can close up the shop, or you can close up the store, you can like count at the register and stuff like that. Then there's Assistant Manager, which is basically the same as an SGA but with more responsibility, and then there's Manager. So I was only ever a GA when I worked there in high school, so I never even became Senior Manager or Senior Game Advisor. I don't know if because of my age or just like no openings. It was fine. I was kind of happy where I was. The pay wasn't really much better than the grocery store. I think I made like 50 cents more than minimum. I think I started at $8.50 because he was like, we seem to know games a good amount when my manager hired me. Hey, you there. You came from the city, right? If so, maybe you listen to my request. I'm all ears. I thought you'd say that. I used to live in the city, you know, but some things happened, so I set out on a magical quest. Now I'm about ready to head back, though. It's crazy out here. Thing is, I want you to tell Garurumon to head back to the city, too. We have a certain contract, the two of us. But for some reason, I can't contact him. Would you relay the message? So that's where you can finally do that. Hey! That's a good one. I'm not going to read it out loud, but that's a great one. Also fucking gross. Oh, man, that was really good. But yeah, so I met a couple cool people. I think some of the assistant managers. I think this is the thing. It's the manager at GameStop when I worked there didn't play video games, which is, if you work in retail, that tends to happen sometimes, where you'll be like, hey, you know how we work in this specialized field? Do you also partake in this specialized field? And you'll be like, no, they hired me because I know how to manage stores. I'm like, oh, okay. Which I think is annoying, because managers get a lot of free shit, like free games sometimes, and like, or they'll get like, you know, more perks from the job, and I feel like it's so fucking wasted when like they just don't play games. Or like if they get the stuff and they just don't like give it to like the staff or like the assistant or anything like that, they literally just like, I'll keep it. You don't know. I might play this for an hour. It's just really annoying. But yeah, I think the assistant managers I learned a lot from. The assistant managers at GameStop, I had two when I worked there first. I think it was Amanda, and I think it was Ben or Luke or something like that. I don't remember what their name was at this point. Guys, it's been like 15 years. Leave me alone. But like, has it been 15 years? Oh my god, it has. But like, they were more realistic, because they weren't getting paid a ton, but they were getting paid like a little bit more, but they were also like adults. So Luke or Ben, whatever his name was, the one who like taught me about like weed, about like doing it like as an adult, just being like, you know, you use it to like relax for the day, as opposed to like some of my coworkers who were like, I smoke every single chance I get. So it was very fun to watch like the difference between the two of them. And then Amanda obviously was a woman working at a GameStop, and I watched a lot of crazy shit happen around her, which is weird. Like just a lot of dudes hitting on her and stuff. A lot of dudes thinking they can like take advantage of her, but Amanda was tough as shit. Like I remember specifically one. I think this was for the launch of Heart Gold Soul Silver, I think is what this was for. Oh, I can't. Hold on. I think it was for the launch of Heart Gold Soul Silver. I think the timing lines up there. But basically, we had, or it might have been Diamond and Pearl. It was one of the two. But we had the, but some guy came in with this kid, and the kid was like, "Oh, I want Pokemon. I want the new Pokemon." And this was at like 8:30, and we closed at 9. And then, and he was like, "Hey, can you sell this game?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't come out till tomorrow." And he goes like, and he was like, I don't know if he was like trying to be like a cool dad or something, but he was like, "Come on, I know you already have it out back, just sell it." And then she literally, to like his face, was like, "Why would I sell it to you? Like, so that you can get the game early? It doesn't benefit me, and if anything, I could be fired. It's not worth losing my job over. No." And she was like, really like, she like really dug into it about it. And the guy, like, I don't know, he looked like a little bit something. I don't know. I don't think he was like high or drunk, but he seemed like off, not in like a dangerous way, just like I don't know if he was like all there. But but she just like broke that down for him, and then he was just like, "Oh, come on." He's like, and she was just like, "No." And I just like remember being like, that was so fucking cool. She's like, "This shit happens all the time. You just have to tell him no." It's like, just tell him I'm not going to lose my job over you, which I did take. I took that advice into another job I worked later. All right, we got the shopping list. I feel like I'm not ready to go into Boney Resort. I feel like I'm not ready for this next fight. So like maybe I like come back later. I don't know. I'm gonna try and grab as many materials as I can before they go to sleep. There's so many Lopmon here. I forget what Gatomon replaced. I don't remember what Digimon that is normally. Like I kind of feel like I want more health items. But we'll see. But yeah, so I worked there for a while. It was fine, right? So we had 3 different managers. The first manager didn't play video games. And he was kind of a weird guy, but he was like harmless weird, I think. Like, the thing that sticks out to me, the thing that I remember with him is that he was kind of like edgy, but like if you were like, oh man, that's kind of not cool, he'd be like, all right, never mind. Like, he would back down really quickly if he said something like too far, which not a lot of people have the instinct. Some people just dig in. Oh, are they not tired anymore? Did I like keep them up past their bedtime? But I remember the story that he told me. He told me as 16-year-old, and he was like in like 30 or something like that, or maybe like late 20s. He's just like, yeah, me and my girlfriend are real freaky. Like, sometimes I'll just wake up and she's just like riding me, and I'm like, all right, that feels like, that's, you know, that shit's weird. I don't know that you tell me. Like, I get that it's consensual between the two of you, so it's fine and on the up and up. But it's a weird fucking thing to tell people, man. I don't want to know that. But he eventually left. I don't remember if he got a better job or if he just decided to quit. He did not enjoy working there, which is a theme with people who work at GameStop. And then we got a second manager. The second manager did play video games. He was kind of a nerdy guy. He's also probably someone who has offended me personally more than anyone else in this world. He was fine when he worked there. He like basically he knew his stuff. He would talk about like comics, video games, stuff like that. Sometimes he was fine. I kept in contact with him a little bit after I stopped working at GameStop. Like, we were friends on Facebook and stuff. And eventually, he was like, "Hey man, I work at a life insurance company now. It's like a loophole way to like make money." And I would have been like 20 at this point, 21. And he was like, "I've already done this with like multiple people." He listed off like 5 of the employees, including like including the third manager, the manager that came in after him. So like, all right, well that seems fine. And he was like, and he was like, yeah, basically the way it works is that you like pay into this life insurance thing, and like it has a much higher return than if you just invest normally. And it's like, all right, whatever, man. And I was just like, I don't invest money, so like I probably should. And so then I get in there, and he's like, all right, so we're just gonna have so this other guy is just gonna give you the pitch, right? We have to go through it. It's like, okay. And this old Wall Street dude like comes in and he's like, how would you like to turn your money into, and like immediately I'm like, red flags, 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 red flags. Like, oh, actually, no, I wouldn't have been 20. I would have been like 26 or something like this. I would have been in my mid-20s. So he's like going through this, and I'm like, and like, so then he like, and it lasts for like an hour, and he's giving this hard pitch, and like, so then I'm like, there's like a gap in between, like we're doing something. I go to like wait outside for a second, and the dude, my like former manager comes out, and he was like, so what do you think? I was like, dude, that's sketchy as shit. And he's like, yeah, I know how it sounds, but, and I was like, dude, and I think he went to say like, hey, I meant to say like, I saw on your or I saw on Facebook that your mom passed away, and I was like, are you doing all right, man? And it's like, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm dealing with it and stuff, but it's not, you know, it's not been a great thing. He's like, yeah, I lost my mother when I was really young, so I know how you feel and everything like that. And so I was just like, hey man, can I level with you? Like, is this on the up and up? Is this legit? He was like, I wouldn't be working for it if it wasn't. And he was like, you know, you can trust it, man. I was like, okay, fine. We'll get to more of this in a second. Oh, you're late, Nick. I've been watching you ever since you set foot in Boney Resort. I've been keeping a close eye on you. Oh, bet you didn't notice, did you? Well, you wouldn't know unless you're told. That's the power of my tricks. But of course, no fun if you don't find me, for me or you. So what should we do? How about a little hide and seek and you're it, Tamer? Oh, such diversions are what a resort's all about. Rules are simple. Find me in my hiding spots 3 times today. I won't leave Boney Resort, and of course I have a reward ready for you if you win. Now if you lose, well, that'll just be an ego boost for me. Your partner, Digimon, might get a bit depressed, though. Not today. I'm not strong enough yet. I don't have enough healing items. I need to, like, go back to the city, so I don't want to... Like, I'd rather do this on, like, a full day. I might do it, like, tomorrow. So I go back in, I'm like, yeah, man, sign me up, I guess. And it's, like, I forget how much. It ended up being, like, $300 a month or, like, $500 a month, something like that. And I had money at the time. Like, I had a decent amount of savings. So I was like, all right, this is fine, you know. So then, this was at the same time that I was trying to go back to school and like paying for my stuff again, and I was like, hey, so like I messaged the dude and I was like, hey man, really appreciate me you doing this, but like I can't make the payments anymore. Like, you know, it's not like they did explain to it, like they were like, listen, this is like a 20-year thing. You're putting money in, and then like it's not going to do anything for a very long time. But then after like 20 years, it'll like benefit. And I was like, all right, well, long-term investment, fine. But basically, you know, poverty struck, and I was like, hey man, I can't keep making these payments. Can you stop them for me, or like can we talk about like stopping or pausing them or something like that? Didn't answer me. So then I messaged him again like a month later. Still didn't answer. I messaged him like the next month the payment goes. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And he goes, oh, sorry, man. I quit that job about 6 months ago. They had me sign an NDA, so I couldn't talk about anything, or I couldn't like help you. And he was like, you should just be able to tell them to stop the payments. They're elective. And I was furious, like, because he specifically said like, oh, I got out of that, man. That place was super sketchy. And I was like, motherfucker, you're the one who got me into this. Like, you're the one who fucking, like, I trusted you. Like, you were a person I knew. I spent a lot of time with you. And, like, you know, you specifically consoled me with my dead mother to make a fucking sale? You fucking psychopath. Like, Jesus Christ. And I was like, I have never been so, like, slighted my entire life. I'm like, you genuinely took advantage of me while I was vulnerable. That's some of the most fucked up shit that anyone's ever done to me. If I see that dude, and this is this is a video, I won't say it. There are very few things to bring out the wrath of Zalis, if you will. I know someone who can, if I ever see him. It's really kind of like that. But like I basically immediately blocked him. And I was like, I'm so done with this shit. I did get sorted out immediately. I told his like sketchy boss that I was like, hey, I can't make the payments. He's like, all right, well, restart anytime you want. It's just gonna be sitting there. And I'm like, I'm never gonna look at this again. I ended up. This is the part where I embarrassed myself. I ended up spending, I think, $3,000 on it over the course of like several months. I had savings at the time, and it got to the point where I was like, I was taking it from my savings to pay into this because I was like, well, I don't want to stop because like, you know, it ruins the whole thing. Before I finally just like admitted defeat. But it would have been like $1,500 if that dude had answered my fucking messages when I first started. I'm mad talking about it. like what a shithead. But use this as a, you know, as a cautionary tale. Again, I know how all of this reeks of shit and how obvious it was. I know that. That's why I went specifically to someone I genuinely trusted. I was like, does this just seem sketchy or is it sketchy? And he was like, no. It's legit. People do this all the time. And I was like, they don't fucking do it all the time, you lying sack of shit. Like, what a piece of garbage. So that was my second GameStop manager. We're just moving right along. The third GameStop manager, he was pretty cool. It was a dude named Manny. He was a more legit manager. I think he was like a little bit better at it. As he took over, this is all over the course of like 2 or 3 years. We like kept swapping out managers. I think the second manager ended up getting moved to a second store when the third manager took over. Like they just transferred him to a smaller store. But then obviously eventually quit, went on to scam people. But the third manager was pretty cool. But at that point, he'd kind of stopped giving me hours, which had been kind of messed up. Like this is during my senior year of high school at this point. So like I was opening up, like, you know, I'm about to enter the summer. Like I'm like, I have more free time than ever. And he was just like, and he was just kind of like nickel and diming me, where like I just wasn't on the schedule for like months, like at all. I didn't get a single shift. And he was like, hey, don't worry about it. You still get you're still employed here. You still get your discount. But he just did not put me on the schedule. I went from being like 20 hours a week to 0 because this dude basically like took people like from his old store with him. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's fine. It's shitty, but I get it. So I had to start looking for a new job. And we also like, we moved stores. They like built a new location and like it was way nicer. It's a really good place. I think even today it still looks like a really nice store. But I think I only worked like 1 shift there, or like maybe 1 or 2. But effectively, I was like, well, I'm basically unemployed, so I need to go find a place. Let's see. Please help me.
My name is Toyagma. My friend Monzimon was playing with me, but Monzimon, he took my body block home with, when he left. Well, without that block, I can't move very well. I've been here for days. Please, can you get my body block back from Monzimon?
Leave it to me.
Thank you so much. Somewhere in body, please look for him.
Isn't he just like right over here? So he just like stopped putting me on the schedule. He was still a nice guy. I was just like, I just don't think he cared if I worked there, which I was like, I guess is fine. So I started looking for new jobs. I ended up looking for I tried applying to a local pizza chain. By local, I mean like New England local. It's a place called Papagino's. I think it's in Florida in the Northeast, and that's about it. I don't think it's anywhere else in the country. But it's like a little bit better Papa John's, kind of. But it's like Carlos is a big fan of them. I think that they taste like shit, but that's just me. But I went to work there. I got my first shift because I had like 2 friends who worked there. So they were like, "Oh, apply, and we'll put in a good word." So I worked a 3-hour shift. The first like 2 hours of which I was just reading the manual the whole time, and then I like made I think exactly like 3 pizzas. And then I went home, and I got a call back from a different job I had applied for. So there was a convenience store that lived down the street from, there was a convenience store that was literally down the street from me, like a 5-minute walk from my house to the store. And my dad used to, or still delivers chips for like Frito-Lay, so like Lay's, Fritos, Doritos, all that. He delivers those from store to store. They do it like really early in the morning. And I'll talk more about it in a second. Who are you?
Or who are you? You came here to play with me?
Give Toyagman's block.
Nope, nothing doing. There's a present from my friend. This here's my treasure. So no, nothing doing.
Talked about how Toyagman can't move.
Oh, what do you mean? Block came popping out with me and Toyagma played, so I took it. It's true. He hasn't come to play for a while, but I had no idea that it happened. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just because my face don't change don't mean I ain't sorry. Hey, you. Let's be friends. I'm going to the city. See ya.
All right. Well, that was easy. I'm not going to get to the story because we're just going to talk to Toyagman real quick. Like, there's no point. Give me 1 second.
You brought my block?
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Now I just stick the block in here, and there we go. Now I can finally move. Let me go to your society. Yes, thanks. Okay, it's settled. Still, that Monzimon. How thoughtless of him. Gotta be careful next time we play. I don't know what voice he was doing there. So yeah, he delivered chips, and he delivered to this store, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're short-staffed because we lost the last dude at overnight shifts." And so my dad like told me like the day that they lost him. So then I applied literally the same day, and I met the owner, and the owner was like, "Oh man, I haven't even posted a job listing yet. Like, yeah, let me see your qualifications." Like, well, I've worked retail before. I've done this. I like literally just like I play video games, so naturally I just stay up at like odd hours a night. Evan Forward, you know the shtick. Let me know if you're here. So yeah, he was just like, yeah, let me consider it. So, after I worked my first shift at the pizza place, I got the call back from I got the call back from the overnight place, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'd like to hire you. We're gonna start you at $15 an hour." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, Jesus Christ, I got paid like double what I made the other places. Or no, I think I might have started lower. I think it eventually became 15. I think it started at like 13, but which is still really good. So I started working there, and I worked there for 8 years. I worked for it was a Tedeschi's, which is another local chain. Very funny thing happened with the Tedeschi's. So Tedeschi's convenience stores were owned by Peter Tedeschi. Again, this is a local thing. This isn't like the Northeast. He ran them very successfully, and he ran them so successfully that he became very wealthy, and so did his kids. So when he was like, "All right, ready to retire, which of my kids is going to take over for me?" They were like, "We don't want to work for you. We're already rich. Why would we work for anything?" And he was like, "What?" Huh? And so he ended up trying to sell it to other people, and 7-Eleven originally passed on him, but then eventually 7-Eleven ended up buying the franchise, which led to some very funny things where previously where like 7-Eleven and Tedeschi's had locations very close to each other because they were competitors. Now it was just like 7-Elevens like literally like 2 on like a block from each other. in like not very busy areas, so it was very funny. But yeah, so I'll talk more about that job in a bit because I worked there for 8 years, so I've got experience. Oh, a human. You must have come from that city thing. My appearance doesn't upset you. How unexpected. Well, what can I do for you? Please give me a skull gray ring. Skull gray ring? I guess I do have one of those. I'm afraid I can't just give it away for free, though. Of course, I'm not talking about money. Not a lot of people come up and talk to me, looking like I do, so I'm so bored. I want to do something to get the old motor running. That work for you? That's a fight, yeah. And it's oh, it's Mock Galgamon. We found him. Oh yeah, right, because we fought Garurumon, or we fought him when Koda's Digimon Digivolve. That's right. Oof, I surrender. Okay, here's one ring. What do you plan to do with this exactly? Talk about Garurumon. Oh, Garurumon said that, did he? I would have been more than happy to hand it over to him if he'd come himself. I'm pretty particular myself when it comes to items. Who wouldn't be happy to meet someone so like-minded? Most folks run the other way when they see me, so I spent a bunch of time doing arts and crafts by myself. I was getting pretty lonely here, to be honest. If someone out there can understand me, I'll move on. Invite Garurumon along too. Okay, I suppose I'll head towards the city. I'm a bit worried about whether I'll frighten people there, but I'm sure it'll all work out. Fun. So I think Skull Greymon raises the stats of baby and in training Digimon if you just like talk to him, which is a very limited window, but I think it does boost their stats. All right, Mamimon, what do we got? What are you doing in a place like this? You found me. I was playing hide and go seek. See? Well, you got me. Wouldn't end until you found me. Geez, human games are pretty weak sauce. So I want to play a new game. I'll go look for one in the city. I think he just joins the lab. I don't think we can talk to a Fawnimon yet, but I'll try. Oh, you're going to be tough. I'm just going to do this. No response. I can't even see us. Well, then why are they here? Oh, nice. All right, I'm just going to...
Over here.
No, we'll go back. Because I have to, you know what? Let's fight him. I think he's too strong, which is why I didn't want to fight him. He's much stronger than me. And he deals a lot of damage. I don't have that many healing items. I think I know what I have to do here. I just need them to do some attacks. There we go. Please. Please, please. Barbamon, I'm begging you. We're waiting on you. Alright. Little EXE. Alright, this animation is going to take a while, so I'll explain a little bit more. So, the other job I got, I got this job while I was working overnights, because I only worked weekends for the overnights originally, so I needed a job for like the middle of the week. This was when I left community college. I had basically been like, alright, well, community college isn't working out, I better just like find a permanent job to work. And a friend of mine was looking for people to work in her family's like wine warehouse / distribution center. So I got a brief job working at a wine warehouse where it was the most physical job I've done in my life, where it was moving a lot of wine boxes, being very careful, and then we would also deliver them. If I just had to work in the warehouse, I would have been fine, but they wanted me to do like deliveries, and they wanted me to do them by myself, so I was like driving like a company van to do it, and then I was also like hauling all this heavy stuff. And I'd have to deal with like the owners who, if you're owning a place that sells wine, you're kind of an asshole. It wasn't great. It's like the conditions were really rough in the warehouse. Like it was long, very hard days. And between that and still doing overnights on like the weekends, I had like no free time. I remember specifically with the wine warehouse though, it was so dusty that I would come home and blow my nose and it would just be black because so much had like entered I was like breathing in so much of it. I was kind of just like resigned to it. I was like, it sucked. I hated it. I once got a car stuck. I think I talked about this before. I drove it like off a little, like basically like there was this like parking lot behind a store. It was very small, and there was like a small ramp to go up it, but then like there was also like a lip between like the ramp and like the building. And I went to go deliver it, and there was this huge Perkins truck. Perkins is like a kind of like a grocery deliverer. They were delivering like restaurant supplies to like one of the other places that shared this back parking lot. And the dude was like, sorry, I'm going to take up the space, so you better, you're going to have to wait. And I was like, I can't wait. My boss was very clear that I cannot wait. I need to get my stuff there as soon as possible. So like, I had no service, and like my phone was like dying. So I was like, I couldn't even call him to like check. So I like tried to park up next to him, and I had a huge order. Like this was literally the opening of a wine store. So like I had like a full truck worth of stuff. And I was like backing up the van, and one of the wheels went off the side. So like the van got stuck. And I had to like call like other people to help me. They ended up getting like a pallet jack and helping up. They didn't let me live it down. It was like a very like, not bro-y culture because they were too old for that, but it was like very much like a guy's guy kind of job, which I'm like, I'm not a guy's guy. I could be, but I'm also just like, I'm too what the kids say woke. Like, I just like, so it's like, they'd be like, oh, fuck this and that, fuck that, and fuck these people. I'm like, I don't know, they probably have solid points. And they're like, what? And I'm like, what? But this would have been when I was like 19, I think, or like 20. I was like very young. But so I was doing that job, and then, or no, yeah, this would have been in 2013. So I would have been 20, I think, or maybe I think I would have been 20. But I went to RTX, the Rooster Teeth Expo 2013, where I saw the premiere of Ruby. I did a lot of other things, but basically I took a couple days off to go do this. Hey, Corey, Footreel, same deal. Let me know if you see your name pop up. Leave a comment. Also, first, let's do this. Oh, have you finally got them all? Yep, that's all 3 pages. Here goes. Yay! Sukaimon tore up the list and threw it on the ground. Torn paper scattered like confetti. Congratulations! Here, the list story was actually a lie. The search I sent you on was just a little game I like to play. Thought you'd enjoy getting to see all the Boning Resort has to offer. Here's a little souvenir for you. See ya, have a crazy night. What a fucking weirdo. But yeah, so I took a brief break to go to RTX, and I had a lot of fun the first day, but it was very busy. And like for some reason, I brought my GameCube. Hey, Jason Taylor, same deal. Let me know if you leave a comment if you see your name. But so like I brought my GameCube with me, and I was just playing Super Mario Sunshine like in my downtime. And then like I skipped the entire second day of the convention of the 3 days that I was going because I was so tired, and I was like, I just haven't like actually rested in like months because I've been working 2 jobs, and like it was like it dawned on me how fucking miserable I was. Like genuinely, where I was like, wow, I am like really miserable because like just playing Super Mario Sunshine in a hotel without having to worry about anything has like completely made me reevaluate everything. Like, and so I ended up quitting the job as soon as I got back. Now, the way I quit it was bad. I don't condone my actions. What I did was wrong. You shouldn't do this. And it will probably pay me back later in life. So I was like, I need to quit now. And I cannot give my 2 weeks. I need to be out of this fucking job. Now, what I could have done is just no-showed. But instead, I concocted a little scheme because I'm a psychopath. Listen, I wasn't in a good headspace. I wasn't in a good place. Different Nick, different time. Here's what happened. I was so dreading, like I was in my, like at home, dreading going back to work so badly that I was like, I need something to have happened where I can say that I need to quit immediately and this is why. And my dumb fucking brain came up with, I have to tell them I have a disease. What do you want with me? Wizardmon wants you to come back to the city. What, Wizardmon said that? We haven't talked in ages, so this is a bit out of the blue. We traveled the world looking for magic ingredients together, and it was a blast. A bit hairy at times, though. Oh, maybe this is why Wizardmon couldn't contact me. It's magic blocking stone. Do me a favor and keep this a secret from Wizardmon, yeah? Alright, off to the city later. Alright, whatever, man. I remember specifically sitting up in my room at 5 a.m. or like 3 a.m., like super early. I don't think I slept that night. Thinking like I need an excuse to quit this job. And keep in mind, I still worked overnights at the convenience store, and like so I was just like, I'll just work at the convenience store. But I was like, I need to do this in a way that doesn't fuck things up, and I did not pick a good way. I remember thinking specifically where I was like, what if I tell them I have cancer? And I was like, no, Nick, that's too far, and you can't prove it. And it's like also, but I was like, okay, what else? What if I tell them I have Parkinson's? You know, it makes sense because like I can't handle wine because like, you know, you get the shakes. and it'll work. And I was like, even in the moment, I was like, this is bad. This is really fucking bad. But I was like, I was so stressed and felt like I was like boxed in that I was like, I just need to say something to get out of this. So I went there. I put on one of the most sociopathic performances of my life, where I just like dead face lied to this man and told him that I went to see a doctor and that I'm showing early signs of Parkinson's. And I was like, listen, I don't know when it's going to start to show or anything like that. So just responsibly, like, we handle expensive wine. I just have to quit. I'm sorry. And the boss was kind of an asshole normally. Like, he had very big mood swings. We'll talk about that in a second. Wow, you got a Skull Gray ring. Oh, woo! You're amazing, kid. Check it out. This engraving right here is just dope, ain't it? It's got a real, Skull Gray feel to it. Yeah, just perfect. Whoops, my bad, dog. Look at me yapping away like a little pup. Gotta thank you, man. You and I, we know what's up when it comes to items. You feel me? How about we put this good taste to use in the shop? All right. Let's do it. I'm gonna break new ground in Floatia. Just you wait. So normally he had like really big mood swings where like he'd be really fine sometimes, but then he would just like lose his fucking mind and like scream at the employees and stuff. That was part of the reason why conditions were pretty bad. Is that, oh hey, Battle Maniac won 300 battles. Is that he would just I would like genuinely like on a dime, and like the entire place got like really uncomfortable just because like you never knew when he was gonna snap. Which also is just a bad way to manage. Don't yell at your employees, you fucking weirdos. But like, I think another thing was like he was a big heavy. I think he had a drinking problem where it's like he's the kind of person who would just like drink whiskey in his coffee in the morning, which is, you shouldn't do that. So, but he was surprisingly calm. I think about this because I think he was just so surprised. But he was like, oh no, yeah, of course, yeah, good luck with that. I'm sorry, and I just left, and I just like. But then I was close enough with a friend who got me the job or like told me about the job. I'm like, I have to tell them about this. And I did, and I was like, listen, I'm sorry, I felt boxed in, this and that. And they were like, and they were not, they were like, you could have just left. You could have just quit. Why did you do this? I'm like, because I'm fucking mentally ill. What do you want? Like, oh, looks like you spoke to Garumon. Wonder why I haven't heard from him. No matter, time to head back to the old city, I suppose. That Talmon's back too, isn't he? His Tao starts my sorcery. I wonder which one is more useful. I'll let you decide. Heh. Do not feel good about it. I think even telling that story makes me like upset at myself and like cringe a little bit.
Over here.
But it happened. So then that's how I left. It's just you shouldn't have. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. Wizard wants to come back to Floatia. He said he was going to run around the Central District. What good is that to him? Wizard wants to come back to Floatia. He said that he wanted to research practice magic. I hope things get out of hand in Central District. Wizard wants to come back to Floatia. He's going to the business district. He wants to open with Skullgrim wants to come back. He's going to the chambers. He don't want to work with children. Wizard wants to come back to Floatia. He's gone to the arena. He knows a lot about having fun. Mommy wants to come back to Floatia. He's gone to the same area, or gone to the arena, same as always. Monza wants to come back to Floatia. He's gone to the arena. From the looks of it, the area is the best place for him. City's prosperity is now 94. I think a couple of these Digimon just hang out like bums. I forget where Garumon does. I think he might sell items, or no, he does something. Hey Nick, I should say hello. I get claustrophobic, so wide open spaces like this are great. I'm always around here somewhere. I think there are lots. You'll find stuff like this just running around. You got 300 bits. Lots of careless characters here. No, don't worry about it. Just take it. So he gives you like an insulting amount of bits for just talking to him daily. Wizardmon will send you to a random place. I think he tells you what it is. Today is Thursday. Your destination is absolute 0. That would be probably a pretty good way to get there, but no. So it's just a way to, if you're like, you should check before you use the sender, because he might be sending you to the place you already want to go. Yeah, I don't recommend leaving a job like that at all. Like, it was fucked up of me to do that, and I regret it. But that's how we as people function. Don't dig in and defend your bad decisions. Admit them and own them. It was bad. Don't do it. Skullgrimon's chilling over here now. Also, look at my Digimon real quick. Nick, this is glorious. I don't want to intrude, so I've been roaming around outside. Children run away crying, though. I must have been pretty frightening. Things like ghosts and Shiki in the human world, it seems. They're really frightening. I'd never go where they were. Barbmon can bear to look at Skullgrimon now. Rex can bear to look at Skullgrimon now. Like, they'll turn to look at him. And it's very funny. So I think the rest of them went in here. I think some of them have, like, games and stuff they can do. Like, these two are just playing Pachinko. Hello there. Good to see you. Act as like a game machine partner, like an instructor. Free to come play. Try my triple roll. Dice roll is 100. So basically, you just gamble here. I think they both do it. 300. So this is a higher risk one. I don't want to play Mamimon. I forget what you do. Hey, when you again, we'll play. Oh yeah, you asked me. Got it. We're gonna play a game. Come when you feel like it or not. Don't. It's all good. Play a game. Let's play a quiz game. Answer the 10 questions, and the one who gets the most right wins. Pay 500 if you lose, but I'll pay you 500 if you win. You can play once a day. What do you say? Not right now. Okay, I think I just said cool anyway, so I guess we will do it. What color are Biomon's eyes? Blue? What color is Ogrmon's waistcloth? Black. What color are Metal Mamimon's eyes? Red? What is Hackmon's special move? Spiking Strike is Stingmon. Bith Rush, Galactic Flare. I think it's Bith Rush. What is Gotsumon's special move? Hawkery Dockery. It's Rock Fist. Yeah, that's right. I knew Gotsumon's special move in fucking Japanese. Come at me. How many wings does a Funimon have? I always get tripped up by this. I think it's 8, but I don't remember. It might be 10. I think it's 10. Which Digimon is not a member of the Royal Knights? Mikemon. Which of the 7 deadly Digimon governs gluttony? Beelzemon, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. They even put the other 2 who would fit more. Which Digimon is not a rookie? Salmon, Mamimon, Sekmon. Mamimon, you idiot. Which Digimon is not a champion? Gargamon, Gatomon, Hackmon. Hackmon. That's all. Thank you for playing. How many did you get right? 10. Or no. How many did I get right? 8. Oh, sweet. So Funimon does have 8 wings. Or 10 wings. Let's go! I got a perfect score! Sweet. So anyway, I'll talk more about the overnight store later because I worked there for 8 years, so I got some stories. It genuinely is such a huge part of my life, and while there were some nights that, or there were some times where like it wasn't great, like I wasn't like having a super great time, overall, I do think that was a really, really good job. I got to do basically nothing, but maybe I'll talk about that next video. The other job I got, so basically after 8 years, when 7-Eleven ended up buying it, the owners, basically 7-Eleven got offered the owners a buyout where they basically would like buy the store from them so that it wouldn't be franchised anymore. And the owners took it. But because of that, when the ownership changed hands, 7-Eleven was like, okay, all employees will have to reapply because it's like changing owners and everything like that. But they were like, but you'll probably get in because you're like, you know, you'll get like a recommendation from the owners or the current owners and like you're integral to the job. And I was like, yeah. Or this is me being laid off and I can use it as an excuse to go look for like a better job. Because I'm tired of working overnights because it's ruining my life. And I kind of tried. I did. I collected unemployment for a while because I got laid off, but I was unemployed for, I collected for 6 months and then I was unemployed for, I think it was like April to probably November. So 7 months I was unemployed. And then I went back to work at a GameStop that was like 5 minutes from my apartment as a seasonal worker. And then when the season was over, I kept working there because they were like, Nick is great. Obviously we'll have him keep working here. And then actually the price for this is kind of getting low again. I'm balking. I'm going to sell. I could probably hold on to it for longer. I'm not going to though. I'm just tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. Hey, I made money. Current market value is 88. Oh, cool. What the fuck? Did you just give me a Devimon evolution item? Oh, Edamon. Great. But yeah, so I ended up going back to GameStop. It worked pretty much the same as it did before. It wasn't great. GameStop is not a great place to work, by the way. I don't know if I made that clear earlier. Like, the employees were fine. I think it was better than the grocery store, but that was like, that's pretty low-hanging fruit. I just like GameStop is like run like a typical retail place, but like I think it's horribly mismanaged because they just like try to skimp and save as much as possible on like every single possible way, and it doesn't work. It's really what it comes down to. It's just like they don't give the employees there the tools to like do the best they can, and the promotions they do aren't like good enough, in my opinion. Like to keep players or keep people there and stuff like that. They don't adapt to the times at all. Like instead of adapting to like digital services because that's where the market was heading, they doubled down on like toys and apparel, and I was like, that is the absolute worst fucking direction they could have gone with it. But you know, that's not what I'm here to talk about. It wasn't good. They worked us pretty hard for low pay, and they basically knew that, like, even if they lose people, it's like people always want to work at GameStop, so, you know, they can do whatever they want effectively, which I think is a shitty way to run a business. Not a great place to work. But, you know, I got the offer to work as an assistant manager because, and this is true, while I was working at the one close to my house, the assistant manager at the store I would eventually go to, which was the busiest store in the district, because it was inside of like a huge mall, the person ended up selling $9,000 worth of gift cards over the phone to a scammer. The assistant manager, basically, someone called them and were like, "Hey, we work for corporate. We need you to ring these through so that we can test your systems." And they just got this dude for an hour and a half, rang up $9,000 worth of credit, and then immediately, as like right when he hung up, he was like, he went out to his, or he was basically like went out to the person on the floor and was like, "I think I fucked up," and like called the manager and like immediately got fired, blacklisted, all that stuff, and then there was an opening, and so they recommended me for it because I was someone who like should have been a senior or an SGA at this point, because like I had a ton of experience at this point, and also I was just a smarter person. So they were like, so they got me the job. I did pretty well. I had the best numbers in the store. I had the best numbers in the store. I had amazing surveys from everyone. I had really like gotten the hang of the job effectively. Hey, the gamer chair, or the game chair. Hell yeah, dude. Same as before, you know the deal. But I, you know, I was pretty good at the job. But I was just like, it sucked. I was on my feet for like 8 hours a day. GameStop would like, there was a lot of like, hey, this needs to get done. Like this marketing stuff needs to get changed over. These price changes need to get changed over. But also, we don't have the hours to pay you, so like, figure it out. Which was basically like GameStop softly trying to imply to people that like, hey, you should just stay and work past your shift. And I was like, I did it once with my manager to like help him out of a bind, because he was salaried, I think, or I think he had more hours. But I was like, dude, I'm not doing this again. Like, this is fucked up and illegal, and I don't give a shit about GameStop enough to do this. Like, what are they gonna do? Fire me? Like, so I was pretty against that. Very much did not appreciate that shit at all. But you know, it is what it is. And but like, and I can't prove it. I can never prove, like, he never said, my manager at no point was like, I need you to stay late for this. But he was basically just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this, probably gonna have to stay here super late because, you know, there's just so much to do, but I can't do it. Like, they would basically do the guilt thing where it's like you would like offer to do it. Real fucked up shit. This is the like constant theme of GameStop, is that they don't hire enough people. They don't put enough people on. Like, I would constantly have to work by myself, even though we had employees, just because like GameStop didn't want to pay hours. So they'll like give like people no hours and stuff like that. It's not a good situation, like, at all. I can't verify if they still do that, obviously, but they did as of 2019. But as I was working at I think I've told this before, as I was working at GameStop, I had a friend reach out to me, a friend from Cape Cod Community College, actually, my friend Nicole, who reached out and said like, oh, they know someone on Facebook who posted that like WB Games is hiring, and I was like, oh, they're not gonna, you know, they wouldn't hire me. I have like no qualifications, nothing in the game industry. She was like, you should just apply. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, and she like sent me the link. She was like, you should just apply. And I was like, all right. And I did, and I got the job. I interviewed well and everything like that, and I got the job. I got confirmation that I got the job as I was interviewing new employees, and this is the first time I like interviewed anyone. I was by myself too, and I was like, suddenly I feel like I don't care about these new people so much. Just like, which I felt so weird about, where I was like, man, I'm immediately compromised. But and you know, I went on to go work for WB Games. I still work there today, and I've risen through the ranks there. But also I'm NDA'd, so I can't really talk about my job that much. But I can talk about my old jobs. So next part, I'll have to try and think of some of the stories when I worked overnights. You'd think I had to have more, but like I kind of just like by the nature of the job just had to like flush them out of my brain as soon as they happened. Only a couple things stand out to me anymore. But I'll see if I can remember some of them. Anyway, that was a long video. I didn't mean to do it. I wanted to go to bed early tonight, but you know, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to take a little break from recording these. We're on part 17. Like, so, for instance, part 5 hasn't come out yet, so I'm pretty far ahead. But for members, I should say. Going to take a little break just because, you know, I'm traveling and going on vacation, so I won't be here. But thank you guys so much for the support. As always, I'm incredibly grateful, and I hope you guys are still enjoying these. I hope you're enjoying these, like, anecdotes about my life. I don't know if they're interesting. I hope they are. Thank you guys so much. Oh, I meant to say about the wine warehouse. I ruined that friendship. That person does not talk to me anymore. Which, by the way, 100% valid. I fucked up. The very few times in my life where I'm like, I am the reason that that friendship is ruined, or I am the reason that this is that. It's like, no. Completely justified. I do not blame them. Gonna see them at the wedding. So that'll be fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.